Hi there. Welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and this is not a regular 90% knitting episode. This is some bonus content that I'm recording for you today. I will be recording a regular episode probably late next week. But today I wanted to take advantage of the fact that it's early enough to not be super sunny and super hot out here right now because the trees are still blocking things, and it's not crazy hot. And hopefully the bugs aren't going to attack me. Anyway, I want to record my combo spin prep for you, which is what I have mentioned that I was going to do recently. I will give you the caveat that recording outside, while it may mean bugs occasionally, it always means road noise because there's a road right on the other side of our fence. Hopefully it won't be too distracting. But this was the best location that I had to do this today. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to prep for my combo spin. I'm pointing here because I actually have everything set up on a table back here in my driveway. I will adjust the angle of the camera to show you that whenever I get started. Otherwise, you get a lovely view of some of our firewood, which is very exciting. Yeah, so that's all this is going to be. This is going to be all about combo spins. Okay, so if you are a new spinner or you're not a spinner at all and you don't know what a combo spin is, basically by definition it's just a spin where you are combining different fibers in the same spinning project. Meaning you're taking different braids of fiber, possibly they could maybe are from the same dyer or same producer. Usually they are different colorways though. That's generally what a combo spin is all about, is combining different colors in the same spin to create a different kind of yarn than you would get from spinning any one of those braids on their own. So an example would be my first combo spin that I did, which was all the way back in August of 2018. And I will link to the podcast episode where I did show you my prep for that. Just letting the trucks go by. Yeah, I will link to that below with a timestamp so you can go check that out if you want to. It was not nearly as in detail as what I'm going to show you today though. But this is the sweater that I ended up spinning from it. I do have extra skeins of yarn that I didn't use. I can't find them at the moment. But this is what the yarn ended up looking like. So as you can see, lots of different colors in there. I think I have some ends that I did not fully weave into. Bopping out. Anyway, this is the Weekender by Andrea Mowry, by the way, which is, I had this sweater in mind when I did my combo spin. I was spinning specifically for this. Maybe you're not always going to be spinning for a specific project, but in this case I was. And in the case of this current one that I'm about to start, I am spinning to do the DRK Everyday Sweater, which is another Andrea Mowry pattern. At any rate, yeah, so that gives you a hint of what you end up getting. Because you're spinning a lot of different colors together, they're going to work out differently because you're applying them together, and there's not going to be a lot of repetition unless you plan for that. Typically though, most people I know who do combo spins do it with the intention of it being fairly randomized, and I think that's part of the fun of it. So this was my original combo spin project. You can use as many or as few braids of fiber for a combo spin as you would like. I know some people who only do 2 braids or 2 colorways and put them together. And I think in that one, I think I used 7. I started with 7 and then I think I eliminated 1 along the way because the fiber was not working out super well. And I ended up with way more yarn than I needed. In that one I did a 3-ply, so I was spinning my bobbins, you know, the singles, and then plying 3 bobbins together. It was a traditional 3-ply. For the one that I'm about to prep for, I'm planning to just do a 2-ply. So I probably will not need as much fiber. But the only thing with a combo spin is you kind of don't want to run out if you're spinning for a specific project. So I am probably going to end up spinning more fiber than will likely be necessary for this project, but I'd rather have more and have leftover than not have enough and run out and then have to scramble. Okay, so I'm going to change the camera angle and I will show you the different fibers that I'm working with. So while I'm editing the video, I'm realizing that this portion is probably going to work better if I voice over the audio as opposed to using what I actually recorded, because there was a lot of road noise and it got to be pretty loud and distracting at certain points. So I'm going to just talk through what I was doing here. The downside to that is what I'm saying now probably won't completely match up with what my hands are doing in the video. Hopefully that won't be too distracting or annoying for you, but I think overall it'll work out better. So I'm introducing you here to the fibers that I'm going to be using. This first braid is a braid from Tempted. Stacy is no longer dyeing. I've had this one in my stash for quite some time. Actually, that could be said of all of those braids that you see there. The 2 bags on the end are the exception. That is a superwash merino from Tempted though. The next one is from Unwind Yarn Company, and Dana is also no longer dyeing. This was a Polworth silk blend, and as you can see, the colors go together pretty well. That first braid, that Tempted braid, is a pretty good representation of the color theme, if you will, that I was going for this combo spin. With the other colors and the other braids being either lighter or darker, but they really coordinate super well. That third one is a braid of Hobbledehoy fiber. Hobbledehoy is also no longer in business as a dyer as far as I know. This is a braid of merino, silk, and bamboo, which I'm pretty excited about. I love spinning fibers that have bamboo in them. So that'll add a nice textural element to this combo spin. And the last braid there is a braid from Gail's Art. Gail is also no longer dyeing. I loved her colorways though. She had such wonderful, intense colorways. This is a braid of alpaca silk. Now, I have to be honest with you. Alpaca is not one of my favorite fibers to work with, either spinning or knitting. However, I think since I'm using this as a combo spin and I'll be working with it in smaller quantities as I go, it'll be a little bit more enjoyable for me. I don't think I would have enjoyed just spinning that braid straight as you see it there. But yeah, working with it in the smaller bits that I'll be working with it, I think that'll be great for this combo spin. So as you can see, those 4 main fibers that I had set aside for this combo spin really coordinate well in a range of light and dark tones, and I'm super excited to see how they're going to work together. As I said earlier, I think I said earlier, I'm not sure that those 4 4-ounce braids are going to be quite enough for the amount of yarn I'm going to need for the sweater, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'm adding in these 2 bags of John Arbon Textiles fiber. This is their Devonia blend, which is 50% Exmoor Blue-Faced Leicester, 30% Devon Blue-Faced Leicester, and 20% Wensleydale. I've never spun with this fiber before, so I'm really looking forward to using it. And I've got 2 different colors there, that orange and that red. Those are each 100 grams, so that's about 3.5 ounces. Together, I have about 27 ounces of fiber there that I'm going to be working with for this combo spin. So the next step, obviously, is to get the braids opened up, which will go faster or slower depending on how they were braided, because everybody does it a little bit differently. So everything is opened up now. I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and use the full amount of those 2 John Arbon fibers. I was originally thinking maybe I'd only use half of each of them, but I think I'm just going to go with the whole thing, obviously, as you will see. Again, I'll probably end up with more yarn than I need for this sweater project, but I'd rather have that than not enough. So the next step in the process of prepping this is to take each of these braids and to split them into smaller lengths. So I'm going to do that by lining up the loose ends and then finding the center point of the fiber and just pulling it apart. This does not have to be exact by any stretch of the imagination, just vaguely in half. And then I'm going to do that again. I'll line up those loose ends, all 4 loose ends, find that other center point and pull both of those apart. So I'm left with 4 shorter lengths of that braid. You could continue and do that again and end up with 8 lengths. I believe that's how I did it with my last combo spin, but for this one I'm just going to leave those a little bit longer. I would say it'll turn out to produce longer color stretches, which is true, but it's really hard to compare it like to my last combo spin because the colors are different, the dye placement is different, so it's really comparing apples to oranges. I'm just in the mood to just do the 4 strips. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that with the remaining 5 braids of fiber now. So there we have all 6 braids that have been broken into 4 lengths. And so now the next step to this is to take each of those shorter lengths and I'm going to divide them widthwise into narrower strips of fiber, which we're going to get to here. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to take that and I'm going to pull it apart lengthwise like that, or widthwise into the narrower length. So I've got 2 lengths now and I'm going to take each of those and pull those apart. So each of those shorter lengths that I split are now being divided up into 4 narrower strips of fiber. So if we're doing the math, I had 4 lengths for each braid, and each of those 4 lengths is going to be divided into 4 strips. So that's going to give me 16 narrow strips of fiber for each of the braids. So now I have all of my narrow strips. Everything in that respect has been prepped. So the last thing I need to do is to gather these together in a completely random order and put them in little fiber bundles basically, and those are going to be what I'll pull out of my basket, which you're going to see here in just a second, to use while I spin. If you get twitchy when you think about doing random color placements, you could obviously do these in a specific order. That does not bother me though. I really enjoy the randomization process of a combo spin, so I'm going to just be picking up, I think I did about 3 strips per bundle in this one as I started doing it, which you'll see here in a minute once my hands in the video catch up to what I'm saying now. But yeah, I'm just going to randomly pick up strips of fiber from those 6 braids, and I'm just loosely sort of wrapping them into a bundle. Because the fiber has been split up so much, it's a little bit more fragile, and I don't want to do anything that's going to really just pull it apart and make it harder to work with or make it a mess and end up with waste. So I'm just loosely wrapping those into bundles and then laying them in my basket. And again, you can see no real rhyme or reason to which ones I'm picking. I might choose to do some color management as I'm spinning if I find that I've got the same strip multiple times in a close amount, but honestly, it's not a big deal because once you start plying, it's all going to be very randomized. Okay, so here we have it. My whole basket of little bundles. The last one I only had 2 pieces in it, but that was just the math, how it worked out. Hopefully, as you saw as I was doing that, I was not following any particular pattern grabbing them, and I will not be following any particular pattern when I grab them to spin either. I'm just gonna grab this bundle and I'll start with one, I'll work through the strips individually, grab another, and if I find reasons that I think I need to color manage as I go, I might do that, but I don't remember having to do that much in the last combo spin, and I imagine I won't in this one either. Because really, as you're spinning the singles and you're spinning end to end to end, that's only part of what you're going to see at the end, because you're also going to take that and then you're going to ply it with another bobbin that has been spun end to end to end, all those strips, and they're in a completely different order. And some of these fibers are dyed randomly, so the colors aren't going to line up anyway. It's not a big deal. That's the fun of a combo spin to me. Anyway, so this is it. I'm going to start spinning now, and if you watch the podcast, hopefully you will see my progress over the coming weeks and probably, realistically, months. This is going to be a pretty big project, but hopefully it won't languish too long, at least not as long as my last one. My last one I think took me almost 2 years to finish up, but hopefully I'll get through this one a little bit faster. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing how I prep. And I hope maybe you will try your own combo spin at some point, because they are a lot of fun.